project founders in the room now, guys. Please give a big warm Cobra welcome to Vat Crypto. He's taken the time out of his day to be here and answer questions from the community about this amazing project. So
Thank you, guys.
welcome.
Thank you for having me here today.
Welcome,
we
welcome.
Really appreciate the time, man.
Welcome. It's our pleasure.
Yeah, let's start out. Vad, do you want to share your screen, or should I sort of share my screen and we can go through the website, we can look in through the project, its roadmap, and all the good things about it. I'm pumped.
Actually, let's try to do this right. So just share your screen, show what's there, and just ask me questions. Let's do this way.
Cool. So
let's make it a bit chilly. It's late at my location already, but I'm tired. So let's make a chill conversation.
Yeah, we're gonna lo-fi our way through this nice conversation, and I'm looking forward to it. Awesome project. You guys have worked really hard, and yeah, us at Cobras, we've been waiting for a week now. We're like, we got to know more about boss fighters, and I think we have Vicious here, who's a Cobra member that sort of reached out to your team. And it's pretty. I'm looking forward to everything this project has to offer. It's NFT collections. It's VR game. So where should I start? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I can see a screen.
Awesome. So where should I start? Should I go to about? We can talk through there.
Look at that, beautiful. I guess off the bat, like a couple of questions. Could you tell us just what Boss Fighters is really all about? I know it's just for the people that aren't aware already. VR versus PC and all of that stuff, and you have the boss and the fighters. If you could give us just like a bit of an overview about where this kind of like the concept came from, where the idea came from, because it's quite interesting to me, man.
Sure. So Boss Fighters, as it says, it is a world first VR versus PC competitive play and learn action game. And I think each of these words is true, because it's really world's first this kind of game on the Web3 space. You cannot find any other game on Web3 space that has these mechanics. So the background of this game, it comes from our experience as game developers and VR developers. So we were thinking, what can we bring? What stuff can we do in our company, in our game development company, small indie studio, and what can we share with the community, Web3 community? And because we are VR developers, we have two companies. One of them is an entirely VR dedicated company. So we worked on multiple VR projects for enterprise applications. We developed stuff like safety simulations, medical trainees, employee assessment stuff. So we worked a lot with business clients, and we learned a lot from this, especially how to design good VR interactions that are easily understandable, intuitive, and how to get rid of motion sickness.
Hey, how's it going?
Over the years, we kind of laid out the foundation of this VR gameplay internally. So the idea was not there yet. And the other company that I also run, it is a graphics production company where we do stuff for game development. You can Google it. It's pixword.com. I think you can find this in the Boss Fighters as well. Pixword.
Where should I go? Where should I go on the website?
Just lower. Just scroll down.
Scroll down.
So you'll find and in the team, you'll find this. So team. So yeah. And at Pixword, we create graphics for games, for VFX, for virtual production. Just scroll down. So yeah, here's the link. And we created this Pixword Games company dedicated for developing boss fighters and very unique games in Web3 space. And we kind of put together all our expertise that we have in graphics. And here are the Pixword Studios. Yeah, you can click there and check our website. Hopefully it works.
The studio on the
Oh,
right.
the
Yeah,
studio?
yeah.
My bad, my bad.
Yeah.
Scroll. Yeah, it's all good.
No, just scroll down, and there are 3 logos of our companies.
I think Z's missed out on some
No.
sleep as well today.
There we go.
That's
Yeah,
what it is.
we're all lack of sleep today. No worries. But yeah, Pink
So
Square
3D
Games.
Forge is
One on the right.
3D Forge
one on the right.
is a super old company. I think it's 8 years. The logo is a bit old, and we didn't bother about changing it a lot because it is a business development, is a B2B company where we do the simulations, and the video, as you can see there on top, it is a VR simulation video. So that we developed over the years. I think that's quite old. So you just look at the video that is rolling
In the
on the
background.
background.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we got Epic grant for these VR enterprise applications 2 years ago. So I think we submitted twice, and for 2 simulators we won this Epic grant. 5 things, all kinds of VR interaction. We got a lot of experience from working with business clients, as I said. And the other company, if you roll backward on the Big Sports Studio. So this is a graphics development company. We worked with virtual production. Last year we worked on Karate Combat. I think it was season 3. We created virtual backgrounds for Karate Combat. We worked with studios like 4A Games, worked on Metro Exodus, the guys from our team worked on Stalker, on Metro, UFL. So we know how to create cool graphics using Unreal Engine because we have this dedicated team. Essentially, we have a dedicated team that creates these graphical assets for different games. And I have a lot of experience in game development, code development. So I'm working for 10 years basically in game development, and I began my career as a 3D artist and animator, and eventually became a studio owner.
Beautiful.
So that's kind of a background we have at Cryptoverse Games. I think I can hear myself.
Yeah, could someone mute their mic, please? Brooklyn or Jared, could you guys basically just mute any mic that's echoing? But I think
Okay.
the voice is clear now. We can hear you just fine.
Yeah. So and I was thinking, what can we? And I also worked at several blockchain projects in 2017 as CTO, as a producer, as a product owner. There were some private projects. We developed stuff like token loans systems before DeFi was even a word. So I have some experience in crypto. And last year, with the advent of play-to-earn games, we saw an opportunity. And our thesis was, so there are a lot of these simple Axie Infinity-like games. They're all trying to replicate each other. They don't bring any meaningful new gameplay. I think that's a really old game. Actually, right now, when you're watching this, I don't think a lot of community members from Boss Fighters ever saw this. and this actually looks, when you look back at your work that is 5 years old, and you feel, that looks gross.
No, not at all.
That's the feeling I'm having right now. I almost forgot. This was made for wargaming, I think. We created kind of this one for Life is Feudal. So as you can see, there's 3D modeling, animations, all kinds of stuff. So we know how to do graphics, we know how to do VR, and I have experience in crypto. And at Boss Fighters, we decided to put everything together and make something special, and make something special that can stand out in this endless stream of clone and similar meaningless games that we saw last year, and most of them just flopped.
Yeah, I agree.
So we don't want to replicate anyone, and the thesis here is, if you know how to do stuff, so if you have some expertise, just bring it to the table, just bring it to practice and try to create something. And that's what we're trying to do with Boss Fighters. So we have a really strong team. Industry veterans joined us. So we have an advisor from a Game Loft, product director from Game Loft. We have a game designer that worked on Metro series, on Stalker. So we have an art director that worked at Game Loft as well, working on the major titles like Asphalt. So we have a really strong team here, and we're trying to create Boss Fighters as a really special thing. It is an asymmetric game, because I really love VR games, and I like the asymmetric aspect, because it allows more players to play together, and it bridges kind of the gap between the VR space and PC and just normal gaming space, if you can call it this way. And by going to Web3, we're trying to not only we're doing this for the fundraising, but we see an opportunity how this game can be the show. So because the game mechanics are centered around the physics, and physics it's much easier to make funny physics than to make realistic physics. And that's what we're trying to do in Boss Fighters. So we're trying to create this project as a game and show where we want a lot of different communities converge. VR players, we offer them this kind of move to earn option. So you basically get rewards every time when you're playing. So it's like a move to earn, but in VR. And people already using VR for fitness. In the last interview, Zuckerberg said that when they released Oculus Quest 2, the whole new market emerged. VR fitness applications. People are doing this for free, basically. They are paying for this. But with the projects like Move to Earn projects, people are getting something for doing fitness. And this is what actually the boss can do in our game. So you just play the game, you get the tokens. On the other hand, we have fighters, and because it is an asymmetric play style, we don't need only VR players. Obviously, this will limit the player base a lot, because there are about 20 million VR devices out there right now, and more than 4 billion phones. Basically, it's a huge discrepancy. So we need PC players, we need mobile phone players to play this game. And also, there is a whole lot more users that either cannot play the game or just don't want to play the game, and we call them spectators. And for them, we have the watch turn system. So we can create a synergy between spectators and these gladiators. So, and we thought, how can we do, what kind of lore is behind the project? What would it look like? And the most obvious idea was to create this as a gladiators show, as a futuristic gladiators show. So there is this in ancient Rome, gladiators fought Rome's beasts on the sand of Colosseum. We can do something like that in the future. So these gladiators, they're fighting the boss at the mercy of the crowd. And the crowd, these are spectators. They're using Twitch or other streaming services, and they can utilize Twitch API to interact with the arena, interact with the battle. They earn coins and tokens that they can use later in the game ecosystem. So that's the general idea behind the project. It encompasses multiple things together. Interesting.
In that sort of span of a question, you answered about 100 questions there that we were going to ask you, but thank you for covering every single part of it. This is the kind of energy that you have when you got 24 hours to launch. You know, you're checking every single box there. No, I appreciate your answers there. I've been DM'd to basically get some more questions answered, if you don't mind. I'm going to ask you just a few more things. But no, it's an awesome project. Let's continue. So here, Brooklyn asked, what is the very... let me just move this up here. Was it very difficult to code in the VR functionality out of curiosity? Just wondering why we don't see more of these types of things. It seems like a brilliant idea. So let's answer that part first, and then I'll ask the second part. So was it difficult to code in VR functionality? Was the coding aspect a hassle? Did you have delays in things?
So to answer this question, it's kind of twofold problem. We have an experience in VR, and we're working for 5 years in VR. We are very skilled in VR development. It has some obstacles that need to be tackled. So things like VR physics. It seems like a kind of a simple thing that comes out of the box with the game engines. But when you think about multiplayer physics and multiplayer replications of physics states, especially in the competitive game where you need to have a server authority on the remote server. So we don't want any cheating. That's why we have an architecture where the server is actually the authority. So you cannot access, you cannot alter the game code with any cheats this way. But VR, it has to refresh your screens more than 30 or 60 times a second. Actually, you have to have like 72 or 90 FPS, so frames per second. And physics updates also at this rate. And this poses a set of questions for the developers, engineers, how to solve latency issues, how to solve things like lag and delay, especially when you send in packages across the internet. So there is a whole set of challenges that need to be tackled on the backend side. And that's why we spent so much time developing this before going public. So it was 10 months in development already. And even that we had a lot of already predefined code assets, blueprints that we basically got from the previous projects. So, but on the other hand, VR is much simpler because you see only what you do. So VR player, the input of the VR player, it's kind of a simple stuff. So you just track the controllers. You don't mess with all this animation states that flat screen characters have and all stuff. So yeah, but it is a really interesting challenge, and because it's separate, it basically a separate development of two systems in game. So we need to design everything for VR, and we also need to design everything for flat screen players. And I think this answers the second part of the question: why we don't see more of this type of thing? Because it's just longer. It's much easier to go a familiar path, like everybody else is doing. They just getting code from GitHub. They trying to clone this. We do this also, but we had some in our background. We had this development of the virtual reality simulations in our background. But we always, basically every day we're facing some new stuff, and we're trying to overcome this. So I think that answers the second part of the question. It's just only a crazy indie studio can undertake this.
I could imagine you must have a staffer of like 30 to 50 mods, devs. Like you're outsourcing off many different things. You're meeting people in Australia and Nairobi. It could be anywhere in the world to like work on these sort of components when you're bringing the pieces together. In Cobras.
Right.
So us at Cobras, we have astronaut section. So a ton of us are learning how to actually, program in Solidity. So I think that's where the question came from, like, is it a difficult career path for others to follow after they learn Solidity? So I think you answered that pretty apprehensively. Thank you so much for that. Now, the second part of the question is, could you walk us through the gameplay loop? Any plans to add console functionality? So is there going to be a PlayStation, Xbox moment here?
So let's start with the latter one. PlayStation, Xbox, they are closed platforms. And if we manage to get on Steam, And this is our plan to be on Steam, because we know that there are games with crypto and NFTs on Steam already. Then we might try to get on PlayStation and Xbox, but this won't happen this year, maybe late next year. We need to roll out basic game functionality. We need to establish the game, we need to establish the community, and then move on to porting the game to other platforms. But yeah, and if the ecosystems support and we can manage the legal issues, then we definitely can apply to these closed platforms.
Yeah, I know a few of my friends that work at Sony, and they're going through a lot of blockchain training right now, and they're going through a lot of different codes. So that's so it's pretty interesting. I hope they keep it open source to folks like yourself to further develop your game. So that's pretty awesome. So you guys are open to consoles and other sorts of roadmaps. That's awesome to know. I'm happier.
Yeah.
Now the question here from Crypto Boy says, yeah, this was a question I have because I've spoken to a few play to earn games, and we've done some AMAs and done quite a few pre-sales in play to earn, and most of them they build on BSC or they build on Polygon. So Crypto Boy's question is, why did you choose Solana as your main chain?
So when we started the development, there were Solana games were almost non-existent, and this would help us with the competition. But once we started moving deeper into development, let's say it this way, we saw that first of all, Solana is quite interesting to develop, and our developers really like to work with Solana because it's there's Rust, you use Rust, and EVM blockchains. They're quite established already, development paths. Solana is new, and I think we just have a team of crazy guys that like some challenges to overcome. And the other thing is cheap transactions. I think that's obvious stuff, and NFTs. So Solana became a really big thing in the NFT space recently. So this also helps to bring community from the NFT space to the project, and not to be overshadowed by other projects on other blockchains, like Ethereum. So we waited for Ethereum. So I personally wait for when Ethereum goes 2.0, but it always gets delayed, and we just tried to work on Solana. So it's fine, I think. So there are some issues with Solana, downtimes, but overall it's quite interesting to develop. There are a lot of tools, and that most of the stuff can be calculated on chain. That's also a good thing. So you can upload the images on chain. There's RVF, I think, the system on Solana. So it's more kind of Solana is a second generation blockchain. So not like Ethereum or EVM blockchains that are trying to clone each other. So yeah, I think that's how I answer this.
That answers the question. I saw there. It's written on the Solana developer side. Web3 games with Web 2 speed. So because most Web3 games right now are very slow, and they go through a lot of crashes. So if Solana are saying that they have Web 2 speed, that's a good thing. Awesome. So that's the question answered there. Thank you so much for that, Vadman. Let's continue the questions. Should we take some more questions, or do you want to expand on the team or roadmap? Where should we go from here?
I think we can answer another question, then I'm going to talk about the team and the roadmap, and then we can answer another question. Let's do this.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, man. So Sci-Fi High, I love the name here, writes out, minting question: if you have a whitelist token in your wallet, does that mean you are whitelisted member? Therefore, you can have unlimited mints tomorrow, or is one whitelist token per minted NFTs, WL tokens, and Candy Machine wallet address was posted? That is what is used for. Could you break this down a little bit and say what's the minting process tomorrow? How does a whitelist work?
Okay. So tomorrow starts pre-sale community mint on Fractal. to participate in this pre-sale community mint, you need to have this whitelist token in your wallet. And this token is not burned during the mint, so that means that you can mint multiple NFTs with this token using at a discounted price. So that's how it works. There is you can so let me drop you a link. So you can just go to Fractal, and we're on the home page on Fractal. There is this nice mint guide, how to mint using different Fractal. No, it's not this Fractal. It's fractal.is. Yeah, this one.
There we go. Okay, so we have boss fighter there, minting soon.
Right. So there is the mint guide. You can see when you so enter the page, and there will be a mint guide and a Medium article. Here, community sale, whitelist, and there's learn more. There is a Medium article, how to mint. So if you're really new to minting on Fractal or any other site, I think
no worries.
It's broken. Yeah, I need to address this to the Fractal team. Yeah, here on the right on the whitelist, you can see this link to learn more. And here's a Medium article.
Awesome.
That explains how to mint. So here's all the information about minting. So what was the other part of the question? Unlimited mints. Yeah. So what we see right now, the market situation is really bad. Last week's story with Luna and UST killed already that market.
Oh boy.
That's how I can explain. That's how I can describe this. And in the NFT space, unfortunately, most of the people are NFT traders, day trading NFTs, and they just might not show up to the mint. So we wanted to create this kind of a little tension among the community, so that whitelisted members really need to go and mint the project, because we're packing so much utility into these NFTs. We're packing a lot of benefits into these NFTs, and it's not about the fundraising anymore. As you can see, it's 2,000 NFTs, and Solana is just about $50, I think, right now. It's more about building a strong core of the community for the long-term success of the project. That's what we need right now, and it will help us to negotiate better deals with VCs, with bigger VCs that we want to onboard, or other investors that want to come to our project. So that's what we're trying to do with this mint. We want to establish a strong community with this minting structure, and we want to secure our long-term vision, basically.
Beautiful. Thank you for explaining that in such detail. I hope that answers the question, Sci-Fi High. I hope that answers your question. We'll take another question and then we'll talk about the team. Let's do it this way.
Okay.
So now Vicious asks, will there be other boss characters introduced or with different abilities?
Yeah, I love this question. We planned 3 collections to release this year. The first collection, Boss Fighters Rowdies, the first and most exclusive, only 2,000 supply. The second collection, Boss Fighter Stars, these are kind of those are also flat screen characters, but kind of celebrities of this futuristic world. Different visuals, and different benefits, more centered around gaming guilds, NFT renting stuff. It will all be explained later. And you can get the second collection only with staking tokens. So once the token goes live, you stake the token. We want to introduce as much of the utility as possible for the token. And one of the utilities for the token on the release will be staking to get these Arena Stars NFTs. This is the second collection. And then I think in Q4, there will be a collection of bosses, the most rare collection of bosses, different visuals, also generative collection. That basically wraps up the visuals of the characters that we have. We will also have kind of NFT altering features. I would say so you can spend tokens, you can spend in-game points, let's say, to change visuals, because we really want to build a strong cosmetic play in the game. So it's similar to games like Fortnite or Apex Legends, where you get something for battling, and this something might be a cosmetic item. So either you get a cosmetic item for the weapon, for your weapon, or for the character, but maybe some part of the character. And because we also will have free-to-play players that will be using generic avatars, we also want to give them some kind of a cosmetic play so they can alter a bit their characters. And this also applies to the general bosses that free-to-play players that will use in VR. In terms of weapons, I think, yeah, we actually testing a lot of new stuff. The builds that we were showing in the last week and previous weeks, these are quite old builds. Right now we have a weapon system in place. We're testing how it all synergizes with the arena. Bosses, they will also have weapons. And I can give you a little bit of hint how the weapons will work for the bosses. So boss can equip 2 weapons on the battle, 1 weapon for each arm, because we want to keep the controls really simple for the VR character, because VR players are really overwhelmed with the amount of information that they're getting, and that's why you need to keep it simple for them. So let's say there is some charging bar, charging meter that charges, and once the energy recharge, you can equip a weapon instead of this claw that grabs everything and you can throw stuff. Let's say there is a laser or a flame cannon or a deflector shield or a seismic hammer or something like that, and you use this weapon for a while and it changes your gameplay. Let's say the laser can shoot really far and can roast enemies. A seismic hammer can send fighters flying, etc., and can crush the environment. So bosses will have weapons, and you have basically a separate progression for the bosses as well as the progression for the fighter characters.
Nice. I'm looking. Thing is, like, now I want to stop asking questions and play the game now. I'm a gamer myself, and I think the community here are DMing me saying that when is the game out? When can we start playing this? Now that we have all the variations of the weapons, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, before we take any more questions, Vad, I want to now ask about the team. How did you guys come together with Synergy to build this game?
I think that's one of the strongest points of our project. It's the team that's behind the project, and these are all the guys that have been working for a long time together. So me and Michael, we worked on these virtual reality simulators for 5 years. Alex, I know him for 8 years. He's our 3D lead. He's a 3D lead at Pixord, at 3D Forge, and at Pixord Games, and he helps us with kind of defining production pipelines, giving feedback to 3D artists across the globe. Camilla, she's an art director, and she worked at Gameloft for 4.5 years at games like Asphalt. I think, yeah, she worked on Asphalt, and that's a kind of a flagship title of Gameloft. I think everyone in the world played at least one of the Gameloft games. And yeah, she's responsible for the art some of these games. Andrew is a game designer. So we started working with him right when Boss Fighters emerged. He's a winner of, I think, 5 VR hackathons. He shipped a lot of VR games. He's really a VR geek that, like we all here. I think we don't have here Kirill. Kirill, he is a weapons and system designer. He worked at Metro Exodus and on Stalker, so he's kind of responsible for shooting mechanics, for weapons, upgrades. Yeah, and if you played these shooters, you know that they're quite good at shooting. So you might expect some cool shooting mechanics in our game as well.
Awesome, man.
And
Awesome. You got a good rounded sort of experienced team in VR. Because this happens, I see a lot of projects where they have a team, but they're all VCs or they're all sort of from a business background. They don't have, as you say, VR experience or gaming experience. So it's good to know that your team has a bunch of experience in VR gaming and just gaming in general. So that's pretty awesome.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Cool, 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 cool. So were you guys working on similar projects? Did you guys meet on GitHub? Where did you guys meet?
I think we met. Yeah, we worked on some projects. We worked. So where I met Michael, I think there was a project in our outsource studio, in my outsource studio. Maybe we worked with Wargaming, some kind of experimental project. They have a lot of experimental projects at Wargaming that never ship, unfortunately. But they need some partners to make these projects internally. And we worked on some of these projects, and this was actually a real project. It was a AR virtual museum of World War II military tanks, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael worked at the other company that was also hired by Wargaming to do some stuff, and yeah, we kind of make a collaboration, synergy, and then we started working together. We opened up this VR department and started working on VR simulations together. And then, yeah, it's been 5 years already. So the core team that we're working right now that works on at Boss Fighters, it's a 5-year hardened battle veterans basically. So it's not like we trying to fundraise and then we're trying to look for the devs. I think we have the other issue. So we're actually looking for the VCs, we're looking for the marketing guys, we're looking for the guys who know how to sell, etc. So we have no problem with developers, no problem with game development experience. What we need, and that's why we need to have a successful mint, we need to attract some big money to the project, because that's, and we already attracted big money. So we have Metaverse Capital, we have Master Ventures investing in us, the partners. I think that we need to add a few more here, and we're in talks with Miria. So yeah, I think it's all especially at these market conditions. Once we do a sellout, we'll be in much better shape. Engine Starter as well, that's a big launch pad, and they're also invested in us. I think they're invested in the strategic round. So we're focused on expanding our partnerships, and yeah, that's what we're focused right now. Because obviously we're building the game, but this will nothing happens with this. We still need to develop a game, and it will be developed nevertheless.
Awesome, awesome. Like, the reason why I pointed out Engine Starter is because Cobra's got into the seed round into Engine Starter, and we got into IDO launches and stuff. So we know Engine and Engine Starter overall pretty well. And on the sort of job and marketing front, what I would say is you have a channel on Cobra's. The team has it here. And if you guys ever need someone in marketing or admin or you know, business development, then do put the advert here, and then one of the Cobras will apply to it. We have a big group here of folks that have experienced that. So it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see that your team is settled. You guys got things like Master Ventures. I'm a big fan of Master Ventures because of Paid and Kyle Chasey. So I'm glad you have them on board. Do add them here. But it's awesome.
Yeah.
But awesome. This is pretty good, man. Pretty good. Now what we'll do is Vad we'll take one more question from the group, and then we'll ask your opinions on the market conditions. We do this with our AMAs. We ask folks what they think about the current crypto market, and I'm sure you have an answer for that. But we'll take one more question here. So which one should we choose? Any chance of there being fatalities / finishers or funny death animations?
Yeah, I love this question. So I think one of the first funny animations that we are going to implement. Hopefully, we can do this soon. When the boss grabs you with his claws, the fighter will do some funny stuff in the arm. He'll try to escape, beat the boss, and do some funny faces. So, because we want to build this as a gaming show, we want this kind of stuff to happen, and that's why the question is really on point. There will be cosmetic items like some funny animations, and they might be some death animations or fatalities. That's a really good thing to explore. So, but first we need to lay out the foundations of the gameplay, and then we can crank up all the cosmetic stuff, all the polishing, and bells and whistles.
Nice. So it's an update in progress. It's something that you'll be working on through the next few weeks and stuff. Brilliant. Yeah, thus far it's been good, man. I think you've had a lot of questions being answered, and I think the community is happy to learn more. Us at Cobras, we educate the market every day. Like, we do technicals, we do fundamentals, and we keep an eye. If you see our sauce index, we keep an eye out on all parts of DeFi. You know, Web3, when it comes to Metaverse, when it comes to play to earn.
Yeah.
And I think you covered quite a few of these sort of categories. So we'll always have you guys tagged in these indexes. And we'd welcome your community to come to Cobras and get educated and learn more from our sort of community. So now the sort of more personal question I have for you is, what do you make of the current crypto market? Where do you see it going? Are you in extreme fear, as the index says, or are you bullish for the future?
Well, we all know that crypto is volatile. It goes through its cycles. The cycle might be a year and a half, maybe 2 years long. It's just a matter of time when it recovers. Right now, it's really heavily affected by the monetary policy of the Fed Reserve, obviously. And if you check stock markets, they pretty much duplicate what Bitcoin pretty much shows the same pattern of behavior like stock market shows. And that's because of the free money. So when there's less free money on the market, when the Fed Reserve raises the interest rate, and then there's less money on the market, and then we see these dips. But that's totally normal stuff. We all know that it happens. It happens all the time. It happens in intervals, regular intervals. And the best way to invest is actually to buy the dip. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to buy on the highs. We don't want to buy the Bitcoin when it was 60K. Yeah, the market was super heated. And if you're a seasoned investor, you know that this cannot sustain for a long time. The situation cannot sustain for a long time. Basically, when everybody is saying that, oh no, Bitcoin will never be 30K anymore, this is the exact thing, the moment to think about, it might probably fall down to 30K at some point.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure.
You just need to be patient with investments. It's not about short-term games, and short-term games for us at least, because we build in the stuff at Boss Fighters that it is yet to become mainstream, like VR stuff. Zuckerberg says that he wants to put all of us into the metaverse. They will ship one VR device each year, and the market for VR will only grow. So we're still early in the VR market. We're still early in the crypto adoption, because none of the major, before the latest announcement from Zuckerberg, none of the major companies announced that they will implement NFTs, but Zuckerberg said that they will integrate NFTs into all Meta products. So we can only expect to the Metaverse segment, the VR segment, to grow. So if you're looking for kind of a long-term investment, you need to consider these things, and that's what we're considering when we're building boss fighters. We're building stuff for years to come right now.
Beautiful, beautiful. I feel the same analogy as you. I think the world is currently in extreme fear of crypto assets. We have people like Ben Bernanke and Warren Buffett's flooding the community a little bit, but we believe that this is the long-term solution to all the problems in the world. And damn, what's that sound? Can someone mute that? Ouch. No worries. So yeah, so we're currently in fear and greed. We're in the extreme fear sort of index. And what you're saying is never to buy tops. You said something very, very important there. The education is whenever you see buy BTC, it's going to hit 100K now. Make sure that you buy dips. Never buy tops, because that's what sort of brought us to the conundrum we're at right now, because the whales took profits. And would you agree that the same thing was done by the Terra Luna guys when they were creating their stablecoin? They were buying tops, and then this thing dipped. And then we faced.
Yeah, I think this Terra Luna stuff is quite shady. There's definitely some kind of unfair market making was done, and maybe they are trying to remove competitors. Maybe they're trying to install some new regulations on the market. So we have to wait and see what happens. But the key point here is that blockchain usage is only getting bigger. NFT usage is only getting broader and broader. The adoption is getting wider. If you check the amount of active wallets, the amount of transactions, amount of projects that are building, it's getting broader, and there's no denial about this. So it won't evaporate. It just cannot disappear anymore. And it will go over these normal market cycles, and over time it will become less volatile when there is more players on the market, when there are more investors on the market. That's exactly what we need right now. We need more investors. We need more money in the market to make it less volatile.
Adoption. So if Meta goes through, we have 1 billion people getting an Ethereum wallet, buying these NFTs, playing these games. Layer 2 comes in, then we get into a bigger echelon of an audience. So we all have the same hopes here. At Cobras, we educate folks into how to invest in these NFT mints. We make sure people don't get into these meme phases and get into long-term projects. And projects like yourself, like Boss Fighters, build on sort of platforms like Solana, like Polygon, and do things in the safe way and build long-term success than look for short-term gains. Greed is something that sort of that's in DeFi and in economies, so we can't take that out. That's our human instinct. But what we can do is we can take the right measures to make the right decisions, to buy dips, and to get into projects like yourselves, like Boss Fighters. So I think you've answered all the questions I've had. I think I gotta appreciate you for that. I don't think we'll take any more questions. Or we can take one more. Just one last question, Vad. Just one last one. So
all right.
So the last one is Yellowfish asks, is 1 BF equal to 1 token per day, or how is it calculating? One advice, make more apps. So is that a question you can answer?
I think that question is related to the NFT staking feature that we are going to release shortly after the NFT mint. And there will be an article, a Medium article that explains in detail how those tokens are calculated. And so we want to share the royalties from the secondary market sales among the holders, but in a way that holders can earn our future BFT tokens in this royalties tokens. Just wait for the article, and there will be an explanation how it will work. The idea is to reward long-term holders and prepare you for the TG. And we don't want to do TG at these market conditions. That's not what we want to do. We don't want our token to be dumped to dust, basically. And we need to wait. And to make your waiting maybe merrier, make your waiting a pleasant experience. We're doing this NFT staking feature.
Awesome. Awesome. I like the measures you've taken, especially at a bearish market that we have right now. You don't want to release a token and mint this way. No, I agree as well. So that's brilliant, man. Listen, man, you've been awesome. Your team has been awesome. And could you tell the Cobras when can we start looking into minting? What time tomorrow?
I think it's 3 p.m. UTC. Pre-sale starts tomorrow, and 24 hours later, public round starts. Yeah, mint is on Fractal. I think Justin Khan is about to release his kind of a proof of Justin. There was also an interview with Justin. Yeah, he's a really nice guy, and we played the game with him. Yeah, just go look for the Fractal. Go over the website, and there is the mint details. Everything you need to know about the mint is here.
Awesome, awesome. Now, a personal question: how are you gonna keep up for the next 24 to 48 hours? A ton of coffee. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna go to the gym? How are you gonna keep going?
I personally love doing yoga. It keeps me calm and concentrated. But I made a big mistake yesterday. I drank a Red Bull before I went to sleep, and I basically lost all my sleep. So I'm going to try and hit the bed as soon as possible now and get some rest, so I can withstand next 48 hours.
We're here for you as well, man. We're looking forward to this. One invite we have for you is to always do another AMA with us. Do tell us your progress, and we'll keep an eye on your project, man. I'm a fan now. You've bought me. Thank you.
I like you guys. I really enjoyed this AMA. I like this.
Was it different? Was it different from other ones that you experienced? When token, when launch, when pump?
Yeah, it's really different, and it's really special thing. Yeah, I like the way you do things. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Now we appreciate the whole team. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone for joining. If anyone has any more questions, do DM VAD and do join their Discord. It's a growing community, and let's just keep it Cobra Lightspeed, guys. Keep learning, keep earning, and don't fall into this extreme fear. Listen to VAD, buy dips, and get into good projects, and that's how we do. Thank you guys. That was great.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.